Hi, this is Jane at Green Side Up. We're in our greenhouse today, and as you can see, we're growing some lovely annuals. And we're going to be talking a little bit about not specifically the annuals, but some spring garden mistakes. Number one, not preparing your soil. One of the best things to do here, at least in Fayetteville and North Carolina area, get a soil test. Find out what's going on with your soil. Do you need to add amendments? Do you need to fix your soil somehow? It's very important before you start planting. Number two mistake, and this is especially for northern gardeners, removing your mulch too soon. I know when I was up in Minnesota, we would mulch about this much, 6 to 8 inches. And in the early spring, you'd want to take all of that mulch off. Take it off slowly. Take off part of it, and then when it really finally warms up, take off the rest of it. Number three mistake, planting when the soil is too wet. If you can wring it out and water is dripping, it is too wet to plant or actually even to fix. You want your soil to be dry because otherwise if you start working with it, it's going to actually ruin the soil. Number four, having too much enthusiasm. All of us, when we go out there in the spring, we just want to plant everything that we see. Oops, how many radishes do you really want to eat? Just to kind of temper your enthusiasm a little bit and don't plant too much too soon. If you really like a whole lot of radishes, plant a few now and then a few later. Number five, in planting invasive species. I read about someone, they loved horseradish, so they planted horseradish and they had a wonderful crop. And then in the fall, they tilled up their garden. And in the spring, the next year, they had horseradish absolutely everywhere. Be careful, things that are going to spread, that you keep them in a contained area. Number six problem, planting when it is too cold. We often in the spring, no matter where you live, have these beautiful warm days, and then night comes and it drops to freezing or just above freezing, and you've got little plants that are just not happy. I have here some basil, and we accidentally left our basil out one night when it was too cold. Basil absolutely hates the cold, so it's a prime example of what can happen to your plants if you plant them too soon when it's cold. On the subject of planting when it's too cold, I had a lady at my last store, and she called in, and she was just so upset because she had lost $100 worth of plants that she had planted the day before. I asked her, I said, did you leave them out all night? Oh yes, of course. I said, well, we took our plants in because it froze last night. Your plants froze. She lost $100 worth of plants. Don't be too eager to put them out in the cold. I can't stress it enough. Don't be too eager to plant those plants when it's warm, not when it's cold. This is Jane at Green Side Up saying happy planting and don't do it too soon.